We have to wait for every airplane to pass before we can talk to you guys because it's loud.
It's morning time, so there's like 20 flights that all take off within at maybe 2 hours of each other. So they're constantly just like ripping by, and we're right at the end of the runway. It's a really cool spot, and at night it's totally fine because there's no flights. But in the morning, you get a nice little jet alarm clock. Look at this cute little lighthouse right here.
Yeah, it's beautiful here. We've been living in the RV for about a week now, and we've parked. We've parked in about 2 places so far, and this is the second spot.
Right there and right here.
Yeah, we haven't gone far. But this is really a cool place because it's about 10 minutes from the marina where the boat is, so it's not a long commute.
And it's right on the beach.
And it's right along the beach. So the idea is that, here's the game plan. We park the RV somewhere as the mothership, the home base. And then we take the little car, the Panda, over to the marina, do some boat work, and at the end of the day, there's another plane coming. And at the end of the day, we drive back to the RV, jump in the ocean.
Go for a swim.
In order to remove all the dust and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
it's like the good old days.
Rinse up with some fresh water. It's exactly what we used to do on the boat, only it's not floating.
Yeah, but there's no way we'd be able to do all this boat work while still living on the boat. We've lived on the boat for every other project we've done in the last 9 years, and it's really difficult. And it's not fun, and it's not enjoyable. But we can't do this project and leave like one place still intact. We have to rip everything out. So it's very nice to be able to just park on the beach, and we still watch the boats go by every morning. The ferries go by. The cruise ships go by, sailboats go by, and we can sit there and admire them longingly and dream of one day returning to the sea. But for now, we're hashtag van lifers, I guess.
We are van lifers now. We are going to
put the solar panel out so we can charge our battery.
Yes.
Maybe eat a bit of breakfast, and then head to the boat and start grinding more fiberglass. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get off this little bunker that we're sitting on. It's kind of a nice little spot, though. Yeah.
This old road less traveled leads to the open field. Breeze blows where we go, all of the world stands still. There is nothing and no one that could be in our way. It's just me. It's you in this moment we can save.
Dishes time.
You can take the sailor out of the ocean, but you can never take the ocean out of the sailor, is that thing.
And this is a perfect way to do dishes, honestly, because you don't have to waste water. Because unlike on our boat, we can't just make water in the van.
My toes are being eaten by little tiny fishes.
Luckily, my dishes bucket actually floats. But I don't know how that's gonna work.
And I have countertop height.
Exactly, this is my counter space. You can like wash the dishes normally. It's dishes with a view.
I think this is pretty much like the definition of this camping spot. You got like the lighthouse, the ferry, the airplane just took off, washing dishes in the ocean, and then the RV is just like right behind us. It's a pretty sweet spot.
I think I need an anchor for this thing. I think version 2.0 is gonna be much better. Perfect. It works so perfectly.
Here we are now. Here we are, headed for the deep and wild.
I felt like a Bond girl coming up with my dishes.
In my head, it was all slow motion.
With my sexy walk. Okay, now I'm gonna rinse it. Rinse all these dishes and then rinse myself. And then we can get ready to go to work. This is my dish rack. Quite effective, actually.
You recognize that garden sprayer?
Yeah. This is the Uma Garden Sprayer original.
I've had that thing for 10 years.
I know. It's been valuable this whole time.
Best shower we've ever purchased. So we've also been spending the week testing out version, I don't know, we're on 4.0 of the origami folding solar panel from our friends Sarah and Kim, Levante, because this is obviously a lot different than the one we originally installed on our boat. But like we said before, that was just sort of a proof of concept prototype. And there's been a lot of design work and engineering work that's gone into developing the next version. This one is much lighter, it's much more stiff and robust. And we've been living off of it for the last week. We just throw it up here on the roof of the RV. We can just run the cables down in and plug our battery in. So it's been working really, really well, especially on these sunny days. Normally we just leave it on the beach and charge it if we're around, but because we leave the RV here and we go work on the boat all day, it's probably better to put it up on the roof where nobody can see it. So we're gonna climb down and pack up the car and head to the boat and get some work done. Well, yesterday we were continuing taking out the hang locker, and I noticed the jigsaw was acting funny, and it's because the screws holding the blade on have come loose at some point in the past, and I'm just now noticing. But that's sort of the reality of boat projects, is sometimes you're fixing the boat and sometimes you're fixing the tools to fix the boat. So I need to fix this before we can keep demoing more, because this tool is invaluable. I hope I can fix it. It's got Phillips head screws on it, so that means it's designed to take apart, right? The really annoying part though is that these little screws that hold the blade on are put in from the back, which means I think I have to take the whole thing apart to get this ram off to get access to those screws. And hopefully they're not stripped. If they're stripped, I think that means a whole new jigsaw, which kind of sucks because this one works great. There is a lot of moving parts in there, and I need to take all of them out in order to get to that little ram that goes up and down. So I took a bunch of pictures on my phone to make sure I put it all back together the right way. All right. I wasn't really sure what I was going to find in here. I've never taken apart a jigsaw before, but it's actually a pretty cool mechanism. Because it has this big counterweight that slides up and down. As the blade goes down, the counterweight goes up so that it doesn't vibrate as much. It makes a lot of sense. The dumb part is, I still can't access the freaking screws until I take it out. I can access one screw from back here, but I can't access both screws without still taking this whole thing out. There we go. Cool. This is all I needed to get out was this little ram. The screws don't look like they got stripped at all, so I don't have to get a new jigsaw. But I'm gonna put Loctite on them this time so that they don't fall out again. It's pretty clean for how long we've had it. I'm pretty sure I bought this jigsaw. I think I burnt my old one out when we first got the boat. I feel like I remember using it to cut out the aluminum brackets for our first solar panel mount. So I've probably had it for 8 years. It looks a lot cleaner than the grinder. That's for sure. Just add a little bit of grease to some parts before I put it all back together, but it looks pretty good, honestly. It's actually a bit easier than I was expecting. So hopefully, when I close it back up, it works. Nice. Moment of truth. Come to think of it, I don't think it's run this smoothly in a really long time, which means that's probably been loose for a very long time. But that was a relatively easy fix, so let's get to work.
Oh yeah, the breaker trip.
Huh?
Nice. For some reason
our inverter's tripping. So we have a 120 inverter and a 220 inverter. And the 120 inverter is good for 1.2 kilowatts, and there's no way this thing's drawing 1.2 kilowatts. It should be drawing like maybe 400 watts or something like that. 450 tops. I don't know why it's tripping the inverter. We're not gonna get any demo done. We have to keep fixing all the other bullshit first. Oh man. Although fun thing, check this out. This bulkhead, it's not even attached down here. And hasn't been for a very long time. That's why we don't feel bad cutting out any of these bulkheads. They are definitely not structural because they are not attached to anything. And the parts that are glass are like one layer of glass, just enough to hold the bulkhead in place, not enough to like actually provide any support at all. Don't really feel bad cutting them out. It's been 50 years like this, and it hasn't fallen apart yet, so cutting it out at the dock isn't really going to make much difference. That's crazy. Oh, I need to figure out why the inverter's broken now.
That's weird.
So maybe it's not the inverter. So why would the jigsaw cause it to trip?
Maybe something is like shortening inside of the... It's sensing some kind of like electrical malfunction, and so it shuts it off.
Only cutting here. No idea.
Mystery problem.
The only thing I could think of maybe is that there was some grease on my finger when I was spinning the contactor, and maybe it was like the brushes were like shorting a little bit or something. I don't know if that would cause it to trip the breaker though. I would assume that would just cause it to burn the brushes out. It's really weird.
But it stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Randomly. I hate it when problems get fixed randomly. It's like either have a problem so I can fix it, or don't have a problem so I don't have to fix it. But fixing yourself drives me nuts. Because I was like, I don't know what was wrong with it, so I don't know if it's going to ever do it again. Anyway, let's keep cutting some stuff, yeah?
Cool.
But this is the top.
Take the top off.
That will work?
Yeah.
You
Perfect.
need a new knife then.
I don't see anything wrong with that knife.
Maybe I should like...
Oh, fine.
I'm not cutting.
It'll cut.
So dull.
It'll cut. Just push harder.
This is not a knife. This is not a knife. Ha! That's a knife.
Alright. Show me how much better it cuts.
It'll work better. Yeah, look. Ta-da! Oh, it's heavy.
Nice.
What's that, bulkhead?
Bouncy. I do love having 120 and 220 on the boat, because then we can plug in anything from any country, anywhere. Very convenient. And since both of them run off of our 48-volt battery bank, it doesn't even matter what we plug the boat into. Because you can get 220 in North America, because you can plug into the big boat breakers, and you can get 220 in the rest of the world. So if you're going to do international travel on a sailboat, get a 220 battery charger. You can't charge 120 anywhere else in the world except North America. Look, control.
Choose your weapon!
I'm gonna go with this guy.
Kinko Smash!
Will it cut?
Oh, it'll cut.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, fight!
Fight!
Yeah! Choose your weapon!
Here we go. Oh. Nice. Awesome.
Okay, well, man, it's hot outside. This is the new toilet. This is going to be the new toilet. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the shower pretty much be the bigger space, because then we have a bigger shower. And then forward, or behind the shower, in front of the shower, we're gonna have the toilet. And it's going to kind of push into the V-berth just a little bit so that we can maximize more of the space. But then there's this extra space in the V-berth anyway that we're gonna get rid of, so I don't think that'll be an issue. But yeah, this is where the new head is gonna go. Cool. And then yeah, the walkway is gonna just be, you know.
All right, ready? And oh wait, no, it's not gonna. TikTok. Why doesn't it fucking work? They snap their fingers on TikTok.
It's just gonna take a few months.
It's not working. That's the thing with social media, you know, like they just make it look so easy, and it's just not. It's so much more work than what shows up on social media.
I don't think we're making it look easy, guys. Demo is the easiest part.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's
demo is kind of the most fun, but it also there's still a lot of work that we're still not filming. Still running around and all the collecting stuff and putting stuff in storage and like cleaning the hall up and like all the sitting here for hours planning and thinking and tweaking and measuring. We're not really filming all that. It's like 90% planning, 7% fucking up, and then 3% actually doing the project. Mm-hmm. So what we're showing in these videos is about 3% of the work that we're doing. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the work that we're doing in here, we can't film it. Because no camera's gonna go in that.
Good try.
I mean, it would be a boring time lapse if you just saw us thinking for 3 hours. So.
Well, so I just took the panel down off the roof, and it's actually been raining for most of the day. We had a pretty overcast day. It was sunny this morning when we left, and it's sunny now that the sun is setting, but the rest of the day it's been overcast and raining. So the battery only made it up to about 85% today, which is plenty. It's like a 1.2 kilowatt hour battery. Normally it charges much faster than that, but even on a cloudy day, it'll charge that up, and that's enough to keep us going for a couple of days. So it works out really well. Now the panel that we've been testing is still a prototype of the panel that's going to be available on Kickstarter, and there's still a bunch of tweaks and little modifications and things that they're going to be improving once the Kickstarter campaign is over and they start to go into production. But even the prototype that we have actually works quite well, and we've been living off of it all week. There'll be a lot more details about the final version, including pictures and specifications and dimensions and all that stuff in Levante's website. And I'm sure Kika's gonna leave all the relevant links somewhere down in the video description below. Sarah and Kim have been working really, really hard on it since installing it on our boat last fall. And it's gone through a lot of different iterations and a lot of different phases. They've actually hired a whole team of engineers to help them optimize it and turn it into the panel that is available today. Kind of getting eaten alive out here. Kika is inside dumping and editing today's footage. We've got our NAS running and her laptop all running off that battery, all running off of solar power we collected earlier today, which is pretty sweet. We're still sort of like living off grid, even though we're in an RV now with a diesel engine, which is pretty nice that we don't have to actually run it to charge the batteries. So while we're out camping in the RV for the week, we actually had planned to do some sort of side-by-side comparisons between the Levante origami panel and a really cheap, like tri-fold flexible panel that we got on Amazon. Unfortunately, first day that we had it, somebody accidentally stepped on it while it was laying in the grass and cracked all the cells. So it is no longer a fair comparison, because once those thin cells start cracking, it starts to lose output power really, really quickly. And it wouldn't even be close to a fair comparison anymore. That's the problem with these really cheap solar panels that are coming out now. They look really enticing. It's like 500, 400 watts for only $100 or whatever it is. But they just do not last. Like, you can actually, when you bend the panel just a little bit, you can actually hear them crack. The substrate that they're laminated onto isn't rigid enough to support the solar cells themselves. And some companies do a pretty good job, but all of them, if you flex them too hard, you'll crack those solar cells and you'll just start dropping efficiency immediately. The Levante panel, they've actually co-laminated onto a really rigid corrugated plastic, but it's super, super rigid. Their kids have been walking up and down it. It's been hailed on. It's very, very stiff and rigid, and you're not going to be able to bend it or crack those panels at all. But because it's a folding panel, it will still sort of contour a little bit to curves on the ground. So you don't have to worry about it bridging a big void and accidentally stepping and maybe breaking the whole panel, because it still sort of contours to the shape of the ground. If you are interested in the panel or want to check it out, make sure you get to their Kickstarter as soon as it opens, because their early bird special is actually really sweet. But we are pretty excited to include the next version of this solar panel in Uma's new solar setup when that gets finished. But I am getting eaten alive out here, so I am gonna run back in and start cooking dinner.
Extendable table.
Can I set the mood? Oh, that's nice.
Ooh.
We're gonna have a
You can turn on the. You can turn on the.
We're gonna have a shared cup of water.
The mood light.
The bug light.
The bug light. Oh, fancy.
Oh. Alright.
Super. Well, I would cheers you, but we only have one cup to share.
Cheers.
I don't think you want to see a time lapse of us eating. That'd be weird.
It always looks weird.
That'd be very weird. So we're gonna cut it here.
I'm exhausted.
And yeah.
It's 10 o'clock at night. But that's basically what we're up to now. This is basically like a day in the life of Vanning Uma. RVing Uma. I don't know.
But it's also on a boat, so it's Van Boating Uma.
Van Boating. I like it. Van Boating sounds like a very fancy last name.
Van Boating is when you live in a van but you work on a boat.
Van Boating.
Yeah. Van
Long
Boating.
line of Van Boaters. Oh geez, we're tired.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got batteries charged. Dumping some footage. Yeah, technically this RV has a battery and an inverter and stuff like that. But we've been sort of just living off of the external giant battery bank and solar for the past week. That's been working out pretty well because we don't go through the whole battery every day. So even on the cloudy days, it puts some in, and on the sunny days, it gets fully charged up. So it's like we have like a little mini off-grid setup going on, which is pretty cool actually.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If we had an induction stove, then this whole place would be electric.
And that's why we're able to like run everything we need off of just this small battery and a small solar panel, is because the fridge and the stove are still propane. So we're not using electricity for the really high loads.
Yeah.
But that's not really what this RV is set up for, so it's fine. But we've been testing that solar panel and it's been working really well to keep all of our laptops and camera batteries charged.
It's insane. A front row view. But I swear, it feels like, I think we can feel it. You can definitely hear it, and it's probably not possible, but like, I feel like I can feel it.
Feel like you can feel it.
I do.
It does kind of feel like it almost shakes the ground, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I like watching them go
it's
by.
really cool the fact that it's so close. Like we have such an amazing spot here. I like it.
Like a ferry, like right behind your head. Look at that.
Look, I can feed the ferry. Choo choo.
No, just open your mouth. Here comes the ferry.
No. Oh.
And there's, what's our saying? 75% planning.
99 problems, but bitch ain't
No.
no, that's not it.